What if the most powerful artificial intelligence in the world is, like, intentionally trying to be boring?
Right. It's a completely wild thought.
I mean, just think about that for a second. We're living through this era where, all these tech companies are racing to build AI
Yeah.
that can write poetry or generate blockbuster movies or basically act like your digital best friend.
Yeah, the whole industry is obsessed with building the ultimate conversational companion.
Exactly. But today, we're looking at a system that, well, it doesn't want to be your muse. It doesn't want to be your confidant. It just wants to run your company.
It is a massive departure from the prevailing narrative, for sure.
Yeah.
We're looking at an architecture designed to be this invisible execution layer.
Right.
So it's shifting from something you chat with to something that silently operates the machinery around you.
And that is exactly what we are exploring with you today. So welcome to the deep dive. We are so glad you're here with us. Today, our mission is to completely reframe how you think about Microsoft's Copilot. We're pulling from this incredibly insightful mid-2026 article published in Tech Reader magazine by Aaron Rose.
Yeah, the new Copilot, what it is, what it isn't, and where it's going.
That's the one. And Rose makes this really compelling case that Copilot is no longer just a chatbot.
Yeah.
And it's definitely no longer that awkward sidebar you accidentally click when you're trying to format a spreadsheet.
Oh, I hated that sidebar.
Same. But now it is quietly evolving into the operating system of the future.
But, to understand where it's going, we really have to recognize what it used to be.
Right.
The central thesis of Rose's piece is that Copilot's early days were defined by just extreme fragmentation.
Yeah.
For a long time, it felt like an architectural afterthought. Like Microsoft was essentially taking an AI model and duct taping it to every existing product they had.
Okay, let's unpack this, because I remember that era vividly, and it was chaotic.
Oh, totally.
You had, like, a Copilot sidebar in Microsoft Word. Then you had a separate little helper popping up in GitHub for developers.
Right. And the chat bubble in Bing.
Yes. And let's not forget that weird Copilot button awkwardly bolted onto the Windows taskbar.
Right there at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, it felt like he was everywhere all at once, but it wasn't an actual destination. It was just a flashy accessory to legacy applications.
Well, and Microsoft recognized that this fragmentation was a massive user experience problem. I mean, you can't be an operating system if you are just a scattered collection of pop-up windows.
No, definitely not.
So they initiated this internal strategic cleanup effort. It was known as Delivering One Copilot.
Delivering one Copilot. Got it.
The goal was to consolidate this fractured AI identity into a single coherent control plane. And that is what the new hosted Copilot represents.
Right, the standalone version.
Exactly. It's the first iteration that actually stands entirely on its own. It's no longer hiding inside another application. It has become a dedicated workspace with its own gravitational pull.
It's like Copilot used to be the annoying passenger giving you unsolicited driving directions from the back seat.
Yeah.
Telling you, how to write an email or format a chart. And now Microsoft has just handed it the keys and built it its own garage.
That's a great way to put it.
It's no longer just along for the ride, It owns the vehicle.
What's fascinating here is the underlying structural shift that your analogy highlights.
Okay.
By giving Copilot its own dedicated hosted space, Microsoft is clearly stating that this isn't just a feature of Word or Excel anymore. The applications themselves are becoming subservient to the AI.
Wow. Wait, subservient?
Yeah. You don't open Word to ask Copilot to write a document anymore. You open Copilot, tell it what you need, and it utilizes Word in the background to get it done.
Oh, that's wild.
It's moving from a tool you use to the environment you inhabit.
But hold on, though. Having your own garage, being the central workspace, it's completely useless if the system doesn't know who you are or what you actually have access to inside the corporate network, right? I mean, wait. Don't the other big AI models have security too? If I log into Claude or ChatGPT with my corporate account, they have security protocols.
Sure they do.
So what makes Copilot's native network awareness, I think that's what Rose calls it in the article, what makes that functionally any different than a secure login on a competing platform?
The difference really lies in where the AI actually lives.
Okay.
Models like Claude, ChatGPT, and Gemini, they were fundamentally built as isolated consumer products. They exist in their own external silos.
Right. They're out on the web somewhere.
Exactly. When you talk to them, even securely, you are bringing your data out to them. Copilot, however, lives inside the enterprise network.
Oh, I see.
It doesn't just have security rules applied to it after the fact. It is constructed out of the existing infrastructure. Rose points to two incredibly vital pieces of enterprise plumbing that make this possible.
Which are?
Microsoft Entra ID and the Microsoft Graph.
Okay, so if the Microsoft Graph is the company's nervous system, feeling every single email, tracking calendar invites, sensing file transfers, understanding who reports to who, then Entra ID is like the immune system.
Yes.
It instantly recognizes foreign requests and rejects anything that doesn't belong.
That is the perfect way to visualize it. Let's look at the Microsoft Graph first, the nervous system.
Sure.
Because Copilot is natively plugged into this, it has deep organizational context. If you ask it to, say, summarize the Project Alpha updates from my team, it doesn't need you to upload the files.
Right, because it already knows.
Exactly. The graph already knows who your team members are, it knows which emails they sent you this week, and it knows which SharePoint files are tagged with Project Alpha. It just gathers all of that context instantly.
And then Entra ID, the immune system part, acts as the absolute boundary line.
Right.
It knows I'm allowed to open the marketing deck for Project Alpha, but it also knows I absolutely cannot look at the Q3 payroll spreadsheet.
And this is where the enterprise stakes become existential.
How so?
Well, in the consumer AI world, if a model hallucinates, let's say it makes up a historical fact while helping you write a blog post, it's an annoying mistake. You correct it and move on.
Yeah, no big deal.
But in an enterprise environment, if an AI hallucinates a permission protocol or invents financial data and executes a system-wide task based on that hallucination, it is potentially catastrophic.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Imagine an AI accidentally emailing unreleased earnings data to the entire sales floor because it misunderstood an access level.
Oh, man, that's a nightmare scenario for any IT department.
Exactly why Copilot's grounding in Entra ID isn't just a neat feature to put on a sales brochure. It is a strict survival requirement.
Right.
If it doesn't have absolute foolproof adherence to those network boundaries, large corporations simply will not deploy it. Its conservative nature is actually its greatest asset.
Which brings us to a massive turning point in the article. Because Copilot is securely grounded in this nervous and immune system, because it has the security badge and deeply understands the corporate rules, it is finally trusted to actually do something. It's no longer just answering questions, It's actively doing the work.
This is the rise of the agentic Copilot. Grounding is the prerequisite for trust, and trust is the prerequisite for action.
Right.
If the system is guaranteed not to break the rules, you can finally give it permission to run complex workflows.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Rose dedicates a significant portion of the article to Microsoft's rollout of something called Agent 365, alongside a massive expansion of Copilot Studio.
Yeah, that's a huge deal.
We aren't just talking about generating a polite response to an angry client anymore. We are talking about autonomous execution.
Agent 365 represents a much deeper orchestration layer.
Okay.
This layer is designed to interpret user intent, break down incredibly complex processes into discrete steps, and then execute those steps by calling background APIs or even manipulating software through UI-level automation.
Let's slow down and really define those mechanics because they are crucial. When you say it calls APIs application programming interfaces, that's essentially the invisible handshake between two pieces of software. It's Copilot talking directly to a database without needing a human screen.
Right.
But UI-level automation is something completely different.
It is entirely different. UI-level automation means the AI is interacting with the user interface exactly the way a human would.
Wait, really? Like visually?
Visually. Because not all corporate software has modern APIs. I mean, think about it. Many companies rely on legacy accounting software or, custom-built databases from 15 years ago.
Oh, yeah. The clunky old green screens.
Exactly. Copilot can literally take control of the cursor, navigate the screen, open the legacy application, copy numbers out of a field, and paste them into an email.
It's practically moving the mouse and clicking the buttons for you.
It really is.
Let's visualize what this looks like in practice.
Yeah.
Imagine you need to reconcile a batch of vendor invoices. In the past, you'd ask an AI to write a script to help you. Or maybe summarize the invoice policies. It was like hiring a consultant who hands you a 50-page strategy deck on how to build a house.
Right. Helpful, but you still have to do the work. But with Agent 365 and UI-level automation, Copilot is the general contractor who actually picks up the hammer, buys the lumber, and builds the house.
Oh, I love that.
You simply prompt it, reconcile this month's vendor invoices. And Copilot then independently pulls the attached PDFs from your email, opens your company's ancient accounting software, visually compares the line items on the screen to the PDFs, flags a $500 discrepancy, fixes the cell, and drafts an email to the vendor asking for clarification. And then it just waits for you to hit send.
That is wild. It's a fundamental shift in our relationship with computing.
It absolutely is.
We are moving from talk to me, meaning like generate text, summarize this document, draft a memo to go run this. Copilot is essentially becoming a distributed automation engine that spans the entire Microsoft ecosystem.
And this transition from conversational model to action model forces us to ask a really structural question.
Is.
If Copilot is acting as this massive autonomous engine doing all this heavy lifting, what brain is actually powering it? What intelligence is coordinating these multi-step workflows?
Yeah, the surprising answer from the tech reader piece is that it isn't relying on just one brain at all.
Nope.
It's not just one giant supercomputer doing all the thinking.
It is a brilliant architectural pivot. The story of the underlying model itself is shifting. Copilot is no longer tied to a single large language model family.
Right. Rose points out that Copilot treats what we call frontier models as interchangeable back-end utilities.
Interchangeable parts.
And just to clarify for everyone, when we say frontier models, we're talking about the absolute bleeding edge of artificial intelligence research, right?
Yeah.
The massive multi-billion-dollar systems that push the boundaries of what AI can do. And Copilot treats these titans of industry like they are just swappable batteries.
The routing mechanism is fascinating. On one end of the spectrum, Copilot uses Microsoft's own lightweight Phi models.
Okay, Phi models.
These are smaller, highly efficient models that don't require massive computing power. When you ask a simple question or need a quick formatting fix in Word, the system routes that task to Phi.
Right.
It's cheap, it's fast, and it handles the everyday traffic control. But when you ask it to synthesize a 100-page financial report and cross-reference it with last year's earnings...
It knows Five can't handle that.
Exactly.
So it instantly routes the task to a heavyweight external reasoning engine. The article specifically mentions the GPT 5.5 series being wrapped into this layer. So it uses the cheap, fast model for the easy stuff and the expensive, deep thinking model for the hard stuff.
And the user never sees this handoff. The interface remains exactly the same. But the crucial takeaway is that Copilot itself is not a standalone AI model. It is a platform wrapper.
So if it's just a platform wrapper, constantly routing tasks and swapping out models on the back end, does Copilot even have its own distinct mind or identity?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, the lack of a single mind is the entire point of the strategy.
Really?
Yeah. Copilot's identity isn't defined by the raw intelligence of any single model inside of it. Its identity is defined by the robust architecture that surrounds those models. The integration, the graph, the Entra ID security we discussed earlier, that is its identity.
It's the ultimate future-proofing. It means Microsoft doesn't have to worry about who is winning the AI arms race on any given Tuesday.
Exactly.
If an entirely new, radically smarter model comes out tomorrow from a different lab, Microsoft's architecture is designed to just swap it in on the back end.
Seamlessly.
The user experience remains completely uninterrupted. The security boundaries remain intact. The platform is the product, not the brain.
It's an incredibly pragmatic, almost ruthless strategy. But, as Rose rightly points out, if Copilot's strengths are entirely structural, so are its limitations. By defining what Copilot is, this conservative, grounded, agentic execution layer, we inherently define what it is not.
Which brings us perfectly to the mid-2026 competitive landscape.
Yeah.
Because when you compare Copilot to the rest of the market, the contrasts are jarring.
Oh, very jarring.
Let's look at the rivals the article lays out. First, you have ChatGPT. Rose calls this the consumer-native cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
It has breezy confidence, conversational warmth, and a distinct personality. I mean, when most people on the street hear the term AI, ChatGPT is the voice they hear in their heads.
Then you have Claude. Claude has evolved into the industry's quiet intellectual.
Yeah.
It's the unofficial research assistant for the knowledge worker. If you mean careful reasoning, complex coding architecture, or deeply nuanced long-form text generation, you turn to Claude. It feels rigorous.
Next is Gemini. The article notes Gemini has extraordinary breadth because it's so deeply fused with Google's search infrastructure and their massive knowledge graph.
Right, it's connected to everything.
It essentially indexes the real-time world. And finally, there's the wildcard DeepSeek.
DeepSeek is vital to understand. Rose refers to it as the open weights efficiency disruptor.
Let's break down what open weights actually means, because it's a game changer.
It really is.
Unlike ChatGPT, which is, a closed black box where no one knows exactly how the underlying code works, an open weights model means the actual neural network architecture, the parameters, the weights, the mathematical brain of the AI is available for anyone to download, inspect, and modify.
And DeepSeek treats hardware efficiency as a weapon.
Yeah.
They prove that you don't need a multi-billion-dollar supercomputer data center to run a highly capable AI. You can download an open weights model, run it locally on much cheaper hardware, and still go toe-to-toe with the massive frontier systems.
So you have the charming conversationalist in ChatGPT, the rigorous intellectual in Claude, the real-time indexer in Gemini, and the highly efficient disruptor in DeepSeek. And Copilot intentionally decides not to beat a single one of them at their own game. It actively chooses not to be charming or wildly creative.
This raises an important question about user adoption. If it refuses to play the game everyone else is playing, how does it survive?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what does this all mean? If Copilot is this closed proprietary vault that intentionally lacks creativity, if, as the article literally states, it doesn't even want to be your friend or your muse, why would anyone actually want to use it?
Oh.
Outside of being forced to by their corporate IT department, I mean. Human beings like tools that are fun to use.
They do, but you have to look at Copilot's dual destiny. And you have to understand a concept called tenant-level compliance.
Okay, tenant-level compliance.
Inside the Microsoft world, meaning Windows, Office, Azure Copilot doesn't need to be your friend. It is becoming the inevitable connective tissue of the enterprise stack.
Right.
Tenant-level compliance means there are invisible, unbreakable walls keeping Company A's data entirely separate from Company B's data on the exact same server.
So when Ford uses Copilot, there is absolute cryptographic certainty that General Motors data isn't leaking into their instance, even though they might both be using Microsoft's cloud.
Precisely. In that environment, Copilot is inevitable. You use it because it is the fabric of the workspace, and it guarantees your data is safe.
Makes sense.
But outside the enterprise firewall, it's a completely different story. Everyday consumers sitting at home do not care about tenant-level compliance or Entra ID boundaries.
No, not at all.
They want the flashy stuff. They want the stylistic flourishes, the creative brainstorming, the raw personality that ChatGPT or Claude offer. Copilot is not the leader in the consumer category, and Microsoft knows it.
But what it does have, what it's banking its entire trillion-dollar future on, is being the only AI built as a system-level runtime that gets real work done safely.
Yes.
It willfully sacrifices being the smartest or the funniest or the most creative model in the room in order to be the most grounded and deeply integrated system in the building.
That is the ultimate trade-off. Microsoft is betting that in the long run, turning user intention into secure, reliable action is significantly more valuable than generating expressive prose or writing funny poems.
It's an incredible gamble. But, when you look at the sheer scale of the global economy that runs on the Microsoft ecosystem, it's very hard to bet against that kind of invisible infrastructure.
Very hard.
Let's synthesize this journey we've been on today. We started by looking at how Copilot transitioned from a scattered, fragmented feature, a button here, an annoying pop-up there, into a dedicated standalone environment with its own gravity.
Right.
We explored its deeply embedded enterprise plumbing, how the Microsoft Graph acts as a nervous system and Entra ID acts as an immune system.
Giving it the native network awareness to act safely.
Yes, without catastrophic hallucinations.
Which then creates the trust required to become an agentic execution layer. Moving from talk to me to go run this multi-step invoice reconciliation process.
Right, the general contractor who actually builds the house.
Yeah.
And we saw how it acts as a platform wrapper, treating frontier models like the GPT 5.5 series as interchangeable parts to future-proof itself against the AI arms race.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's a system that wins on enterprise integration and absolute trust, not on flashiness or conversational warmth.
As we consider the ultimate destiny of this execution layer, I want to leave you with a lingering thought to explore on your own.
Okay.
If Microsoft's strategy completely succeeds, and Copilot truly becomes this invisible, deeply integrated infrastructure, if it just becomes the quiet plumbing that underpins every digital action we take, will we eventually stop thinking of it as artificial intelligence altogether?
Oh, wow.
I mean, when electricity was first introduced to homes, it was a marvel. Now it's just the wall outlet. Will the term AI fade away, and will we just start thinking of this as the natural, expected way that computers are supposed to work?
That is a fascinating thought to end on, because if an appliance works perfectly and invisibly, you stop marveling at the motor and you just enjoy what it makes for you.
Exactly. Only this time, the appliance isn't just sitting on your kitchen counter, it's running the entire global economy. And we might just be completely fine with that. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the evolving world of Copilot. Keep learning, keep questioning the technology around you, and we'll be right here with you next time to unpack whatever comes next.